You know, it seems crazy and to an extent tragic to me that we don't have systems and processes in place for when people go through a divorce. Um, the stakes are so high, emotions are running high, and left to our own devices, we will just dance out the same old dances of resentment and anger and bitterness, but they're now raised to even higher levels. I remember Albert Einstein's quote, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." And this is, something that's entirely true when we are going through a divorce. The way many divorces end is traumatic, is hurtful, it's bitter. And we can then become entrenched in wanting to be at our side of the boxing ring, fighting for our corner and denying the other person that we once loved as much as we did as everything that is possible. And this is just a strategy, which is the strategy that we see on television, that we see amongst our friends and our family members. It's hurtful, it's bitter, and it's not particularly working. Given the fact that so many relationships are ending up with in divorce, and that we could engage in up to 7 serial relationships in our lives, it actually becomes really, really important in our responsibility to make sure that we end our marriages well, so that we can move forward to these new relationships free of the baggage that the old one generated and created. So we want to be free of the heartache, free of the rage, free of the sadness, free of any ideas we have about ourselves and about others, free even of any contracts that have been made apart from the actual official contract, these ideas that you are my one and only. And also liberating yourself from ideas that, you can't move on until you've had an apology for the way you were treated in the ending of your marriage. All of these things can keep you stuck, either going through the process of the divorce, or even if the divorce has happened years ago, you can end up still stuck and unable to move forward because there are these unresolved aspects of the relationship which need to be processed, which need to be resolved, so that you can then move forward into a new relationship, into a new life, knowing that you're not having to carry all of that with you. There are toxic dynamics between a couple, and if they're not healed, even if you don't interact too much, they're still there, they're still lying under the surface. And then that time you go out and there you are, you're in the same restaurant as them, it can bring it all back to you, and overwhelmingly bring it back to you. Powerful emotions, all of that heartache, and it can take you back. And there you go thinking, hey, I thought I was beyond this, but look, here I am again. You're not free. You're not able to move forward in life when you're stuck with these kinds of dynamics. And it is very, very common to hear stories about, I'm just going to stay here and you've hurt me so badly, I'm not going to move forward in my life, and I'm going to make sure you know how miserable I am until you give me an apology. I know of a client who actually, strongly believed that when we first started coaching. And it was an incredibly painful, miserable situation for her to be in. And it was a stubborn determination that she had to get something from someone who wasn't willing to give it to her, which was an apology. But it made sense to her, and at some level it will always make sense to you, but the price is high, in my opinion. You can't move forward, you don't have that sense of inner peace in your heart at all. This is where getting the help and support from a process such as conscious uncoupling is so valuable, and it is so powerful, and it is so effective. And if you're doing this for yourself, you're also doing this, if you are a parent, for your children. That bitterness, that resentment, that jealousy, that betrayal, if infidelity is involved, all of this can be processed in such a way that this need not harm your children. Sometimes in anger, one parent wants to turn their children away from the other parent and starts feeding them untruths and harmful comments. It's their way of dealing with the situation. It's not a healthy way of dealing with the situation, but it is a way of dealing with it. But the price is actually paid for by the children. And they were not born for that. And they, you know, they don't deserve that. So being able to remember that you still love your children, that you are divorcing your partner, and that is the end of that relationship, but you're not divorcing a family, and that the relationship within that family needs to be preserved and protected. It can be that one partner, while at the end of a divorce, is now pursuing another relationship, puts all their energy there and kind of lets the children get put on the back burner. This can be incredibly painful for the children, and it profoundly affects their beliefs about their worth and their love. And at some level they're thinking, well, you know, what did I do wrong in this situation, when they actually didn't do anything. When you go through a process such as conscious uncoupling, you know, the emphasis is made on making sure that when you enter into new relationships, you are doing it in a healthy way and a considerate way, which is respectful for all concerned. When families, when divorces happen, co-parenting agreements are arranged, and ideally they are actually negotiated between the couple themselves rather than the courts being involved, because they know what's best for the family. But with the best will in the world, all agreements have a time. So what was negotiated when your children were 3 and 5 may make no sense when they're teens, and their needs are different. The scheduling is different. What is going on is different. And so if parents can still have a degree of respectful communication years forward, then these sort of situations can be addressed and worked out in respectful ways. And conscious uncoupling can be used to help you with that. It's also great when to use conscious uncoupling when a family system changes. So one partner or the other partner may choose to marry or have more children. And how is that going to affect the children of the first marriage? So this is where a process like conscious uncoupling will work very well to make sure that the needs of everybody are protected and honored and respected, and so that everyone is moving forward from this feeling safe, feeling happy, and feeling whole. And so that is why I believe that conscious uncoupling process is so essential as a part of your toolkit when you're going through a divorce. So I hope that this has been of use to you. Please feel free to connect with me at sonyawhitecoaching.com. I'd always love to hear from you. Take care and be well.